Okay, so ever since ChatGPT dropped, OpenAI has become like one of the most influential companies on the entire planet. But the story of what's been happening behind the scenes, it's absolutely wild. We're talking a full-on plot to oust its own CEO and a complete U-turn on its founding principles. So yeah, let's get into the insane story of OpenAI.
Let's just kick things off with a warning from the man at the center of this whole saga, Sam Altman himself. Someone asked him, hey, why should we trust you with all this power? And his answer? Super simple and honestly kind of chilling. He just said, you shouldn't. And that one quote, man, it just perfectly captures the tension that's at the very heart of this entire story.
And that tension? It absolutely exploded over 5 insane days back in November 2023. I mean, just listen to this timeline. Friday, Sam Altman gets unceremoniously fired by his own board. Saturday, his co-founder, Greg Brockman, quits. Sunday, the whole company is basically in open revolt. Monday, a key board member does a complete 180. And by Tuesday, Altman is back in the CEO chair. And get this, he's more powerful than he was before. It was a corporate coup that just failed in the most spectacular way possible.
So you have to ask, right? How on earth did we get here? How did the hottest tech company in the world pretty much implode over one weekend? Well, to figure that out, we've got to rewind the clock. Let's go back, way back to the beginning.
All right, so it all starts back in 2015, and it starts with this big dream, a dream of a truly open AI, which ironically is the complete opposite of what the company would end up becoming. So in the beginning, OpenAI was set up as a nonprofit. The whole mission was super idealistic, right? Build AI for the good of all humanity, make everything totally open source, and, a big one, act as a counterweight to Google, which was just dominating the AI space. I mean, the name itself, OpenAI, that was a statement of purpose.
And a lot of this initial push, this fear, it really came from one of the co-founders, Elon Musk. He was genuinely terrified that Google CEO at the time, Larry Page, would get a monopoly on AI and just not care enough about safety. So OpenAI, it was supposed to be the answer to that fear.
But, ideals are great until they smash headfirst into reality. And in this case, reality meant burning through just an unbelievable amount of cash. And that, right there, is what led to a massive pivot.
So the thing that changed everything was a new kind of AI architecture called the Transformer. And the hilarious part, it was pioneered by researchers at Google, the very company they were trying to counter. See, old AI was really narrow. You had to spoon-feed it labeled data, like the hot dog/not hot dog app from Silicon Valley. It's a classic example. But this new Transformer model, whoa, it could basically just teach itself from the giant, messy library of the entire internet. All of a sudden, progress wasn't just steady, it was exponential.
And that breakthrough, it put the team on a direct path to the Holy Grail, AGI. We're talking artificial general intelligence. This isn't some AI that's just good at chess or something. No, this is an AI that could understand or learn pretty much any intellectual task a human can. The team internally, they literally talked about it like they were building God. It was seen as this final invention that could solve everything, curing diseases, ending poverty, you name it.
Okay, but as the tech got more and more powerful, that whole commitment to being open really started to get shaky. A great example is their GPT-2 model. The team basically got spooked. They came out and said they weren't going to release the full thing because it was just too dangerous. Now, whether that was the real reason or not, it for sure generated a ton of hype.
And that was just the start of this huge transformation. See, Elon Musk tried to take over, it didn't work, so he left. And when he left, his billion-dollar funding pledge went with him. So, boom, instant cash crisis. What did they do? OpenAI flips from a nonprofit to this weird capped profit company. They go from being open source to super secretive. And instead of being a check on big tech, they jump into a massive partnership with Microsoft for over $1 billion.
And the person chosen to lead this new, profit-driven version of the company? None other than Sam Altman. His early mentor, the founder of Y Combinator, Paul Graham, once said something really telling about him. He said you could parachute Sam into an island of cannibals, come back in 5 years, and he'd be king. Sam is just incredibly good at getting power. And that skill, it was about to face the biggest test imaginable.
Which brings us right back to that absolutely chaotic weekend. Now that we have all this backstory, we can finally ask the big question. Why? Why did the board, the very people whose job it was to protect that original nonprofit mission, suddenly decide to fire their star CEO?
Well, the board's official reason was that Sam was not consistently candid in his communications.
That's just a fancy corporate way of saying, we think he was lying to us. The feeling was that he was playing board members off each other, that he was trying to push out a member who wrote a critical paper, and that he was just way too distracted by his other huge projects, like WorldCoin and his AI chip venture. Bottom line, they just didn't trust him anymore. Period.
But there was another theory, a darker, more speculative one, that just completely took over the internet. The guy who led the charge to fire Sam was Ilya Sutskever. He's the company's chief scientist, and a guy who is deeply, deeply focused on AI safety. And so the question became this huge meme. What did Ilya see? Had he seen something, some kind of breakthrough in the AI that was so powerful, so alarming, that he felt he had no choice but to stop Sam Altman, no matter the cost?
But the board made one gigantic miscalculation. They had no idea how loyal the staff was to Sam. I mean, it was a stunning move. More than 700 of the company's roughly 800 employees signed a letter, and it basically said, either the board resigns and brings Sam back, or we all quit and go with him to Microsoft.
And just like that, the board's coup completely collapsed. What happened next was basically a coup in reverse, and it was led by the employees.
The final nail in the coffin came from Ilya Sutskever, the very guy who started it. He must have realized the entire company was about to go up in flames because he went on Twitter and publicly flipped, saying he deeply regretted what he did. And that was it. It was over. The board had lost. Game, set, match.
The victory for Sam's side was fast and it was total. Greg Brockman, the co-founder who'd quit in solidarity, he just captured the whole vibe perfectly. As he and Sam walked back into the office for a huge party, he posted a picture with the caption, "We are so back."
So let's just recap how the tables turned so fast. Step 1, the board lost the support of pretty much everyone. The employees threatened to walk. Step 2, that gave Sam all the leverage in the world. I mean, a company like OpenAI is literally worthless without its people. And step 3, a new deal gets made, the old board that fired him, gone. And Sam comes back, not just as CEO, but with the power to help pick his brand new board. An incredible power move.
Okay, so this whole insane story, it leaves us with some huge unanswered questions, right? Questions about power, about who's in control, and really about the future of what might be the most important technology of our lifetime.
And here's a central contradiction that you just can't ignore. Before all this went down, Sam had said multiple times that the board's ability to fire him was, quote, important, a crucial safety feature. But the second they actually used that power on him, he used his own leverage to get them all removed. So that guardrail he used to praise, yeah, it got torn down the instant it got in his way.
And here's the crazy thing. While all this internal Game of Thrones was happening, the global AI race didn't slow down for a second. It only got more intense. You've got OpenAI now tied at the hip with Microsoft in this epic battle with Google. And at the same time, you've got these powerful new players like DeepSeek out of China jumping into the ring. The stakes are just getting higher and higher every single day.
Which brings us back to the ultimate question, the one at the very heart of this story. The people building this stuff, they believe it could be the cure for everything, for all diseases, for poverty, a key to a world of unbelievable abundance. But they're also the first to warn us that it could be the last invention humanity ever makes. As this tech gets faster and more powerful, the question of who's in control and who we can trust, well, it's never been more important.